sucker here, get down to the... I can smell it. Oh no. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. I hope everybody's having a great week. If you've been following along on this journey, you know my last 2 weeks have been a little crazy. I have not gotten anything done at the shop. It is blower season. I have a ton of equipment to work on, so I thought I'd bring y'all along today for a day of diagnosing, fixing, and fails. Alright guys, so first up on the bench, I've got a customer's Echo PB500T backpack blower. The customer says that it will run for about 5 minutes and then die. Now, this thing is a very well-used older blower, so the first thing I want to do is pull the plug and check compression. Oh no. Can y'all see how white that tip is? That's not good. This thing has been burning lean. Ooh. We're gonna go ahead and check it anyways. Well, we're still showing 150 pounds of compression. Now, these blowers can be really deceiving when it comes to that. They can have tons of compression and still be burned up. Let's check the inside of the cylinder. All right, so I don't got to tear anything apart. I'm breaking out my HD Endoscope. This is the articulating one, so I can actually put it inside and look all over the place like that, which is pretty sweet. So, oh no, there are a lot of scores. Ah! Let me show you here. Okay, get back down in there. All right, this is one side. You can see the scoring. Let me go over to the other side. That's a deep one right there, guys. Yeah, that'll do her in for sure. Hate to see that. So guys, first one is a fail. Unfortunately, they do not make good aftermarket piston and cylinder kits for the PB500, so you'd have to buy an OEM. You're looking at, I'm thinking like $180 to $200. Labor would be $60 to $80. Anytime you put a new piston and cylinder in, you want to put a carburetor kit in, so that's $14.95. You'd want to put a fuel filter, that's another $3.50. Plug, yada yada. You're looking at the same price to buy a brand new blower. Next. All right, next up on the bench, I have a customer Stihl BG55 handheld blower. He brought it in saying that it runs sporadically. Sometimes it's hard to start. So first thing I'm gonna do is check the plug in the cylinder. Now these are also the ones that are notorious for the spark arrestor getting clogged up inside and then acting really boggy. It's always something to check every single year on these, especially if you let it idle a lot. They need to be ran at full throttle to make sure to burn all of that oil off. Well, that is actually a good looking plug. It looks like it's a little dark, but it looks darker actually in the video than it really is. It does have a little bit of carbon buildup. I am gonna go ahead and replace that just in case. Check compression. We've got 120 pounds. Perfection. I rarely see these burnt up, so it's not something I would have expected anyways. Next, I'm going to check this fuel. All right. Little sucker here, get down to the... I can smell it. Oh Lord, guys, get some more so y'all can see. It's pink. It smells weird. It's engineered fuel. Can y'all guess what it is? I know that smell anywhere. We got ourselves some True Fuel, boys. We're gonna take it outside and just see how it runs. Let's see how it runs. Alrighty then, y'all just saw how that thing ran up and down, up and down. Now, you can attribute this to a lot of things. I'm going to go first with just changing the fuel out. Every time before, I've always changed with my mix, which is either Echo oil or Red Armor oil with regular gasoline and ethanol shield. And that usually will clear it up and I don't have to do anything else. I mean, it does run, but I want to do a little experiment, okay? Now, and when I'm talking about True Fuel, it's excellent for storage. If you're going to let something sit, like people use their blowers for a few times during the winter time and then, you know, they don't ever use it all year long. True Fuel is good for that if you're going to let it sit. But if you're wanting something to run at peak performance, this is where I have an issue. I get many commenters who say, oh, you just have to adjust the carburetor. Well, the fact is when you buy True Fuel at the store, it doesn't say anywhere on the can that you have to adjust the carburetor. A lot of things cannot be adjusted anymore. A lot of things take special tools, and they cannot expect the customer, the random Joe, to be able to know exactly how to adjust it correctly. The government doesn't even want people to be able to adjust their own thing. So you definitely shouldn't have to adjust it to use a different kind of fuel. All right, now when I went to the expo about a week and a half ago, I went by the VP Racing booth and I saw that they had a Premix fuel. And what I noticed on one of their cans is that it had an FD rating. Now, what does FD rating means? Well, I am not an oil guru, okay? But when I started selling Echo and I went to Echo school, they said that the FD rating is sort of like a standard. It means that it's cleaner in the engine, it's low smoke with the maximum, lubricant, like the best you can get without going overboard on everything. So I've always told everybody, if you're going to use a different oil other than Echo, Red Armor, or something like that, always find the FD, little FD on it, to make sure that it's a really good oil. So I went ahead and bought some of the VP small engine fuel, the 50-to-1, because here it says FD. So everybody always asks in my comment section what I thought about it, and I had no idea because I've always just used the Red Armor, which is great, but I decided I might as well try it, and this is a perfect example. I'm going to throw some in this blower, and let's see what she does. Well, guys, proof is in the pudding. I mean, I didn't adjust it. I didn't do anything. I took that old gas out, put in some VP, and that's how she ran. This customer's going to get out pretty cheap. Now, I already leave the red armor at my Amazon store and in a lot of the videos in the description box below, but I'm going to go ahead and leave this in the description box below today and at my Amazon store because so far I'm pretty impressed with it. And as always, they have no idea who I am. I just try things, and if I like it, I tell you all about it. All right, next. Next up on the bench, I have a customer's Husqvarna 125B, and they said it runs. But when it runs, it makes a terrible sound. So let's start it up and see what it does. Go ahead. What is that? I don't know what that is. Ooh, let's pull this rewind off. Well, that looks okay. Well, I thought that the flywheel might have been rubbing on the magneto, but that's not it. And I don't see anything on this side that the sound can come from. Let's pull the plug. That looks good. All right. We don't have a scary sound. Let's look at the other side. That's a lot of bolts. Well, it looks okay. So I think I figured it out. I'm holding on to the flywheel. Took me a minute there. I shouldn't be able to turn this fan like that while I'm holding the flywheel. Everything's supposed to move together. Let's get this fan off. Well, that tightened it backwards. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's a perfectly wallered out hole right there. And that's a hexagon shape that it's supposed to fit on. So I think this thing is just plumb worn out. We need a new fan. You can even see where it's been rubbing up here. Now, before I order the fan, I'm going to make sure this thing runs, because although I do believe the customer, and the customer is always right, sometimes they're not. So I didn't go into detail and ask, well, when was the last time that it ran? Did it do that and then you let it sit for 6 months before you brought it to me? I don't know. So we're going to find that out. Let's see if it runs. Now, I don't have to put together the fan side. All I have to do is put together this side so I can get it started. while I'm doing this, I do want to show you something. When you're putting back together one of these Husqvarna blowers, you might get the screws mixed up because they do look very similar. The ones that go in everything is this fatty thread here, of course, and then you've got a fine thread, these 4 bolts here, that put the rewind back on. So you've got like 12 of the coarse threads, 4 of the rewind ones. So I've got her put back together so I can get her started, and she looks funny, like half a head. Let's see. Stay running, but she's got potential. Let's check this gas. I'm not sure. It smells okay. We're gonna make sure that we still have a fuel line and fuel filter in there, because sometimes they like to rot off. Let's see what's going on down in here. Yeah, we got a fuel line connected. Check. A good looking air filter. We didn't pinch a line when we put her back together. So we're gonna try to adjust it. So I've kind of had a quarter turn on the low, on that affects the idle because it was running away with itself on idle. And let's see if it makes any difference. I think we got carb issues. Let's blow through this carb real quick. Oh, that is one worn out gasket. Look at that thing. I don't know if you can see it as good as it looks, but it was completely bulged out on one side and sucked into the other. That's got to be replaced. Something smells weird. Wonder if they used heat. One reason that I tell customers do not use heat is because this is the exact thing that it does to the diaphragm, stretches them out. I mean, this diaphragm actually looks or feels still fine, other than the fact that it's completely pooched out. This could definitely be something like heat or some kind of fuel additive that has done this and stretched the diaphragm out. Yeah, you can see it on these ones too. See how they're all sucked in? That's really odd. Yeah, this is what I see when somebody's used something like heat and it destroys the diaphragms in the carburetor. Now, what I really thought I was going to see in this carburetor was a clogged up screen, but that's just not the case. All right, this takes a Zama RB129 kit, and I'm gonna pop this thing together real quick, and we'll see if it helps. All right, that was quick, wasn't it? I know, no fast movement and music this time. If you want to see a extremely detailed video on this blower, on how to change out fuel lines, fuel filter, carburetor kit, all that, I will leave a link to it in the description box below. I already made that one. So let's go ahead and start her up and see what she does. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, she definitely needed a carburetor kit, but it was completely worth the fix. Well, that was a little bit of diagnosing, fixing, and fails, getting back in the swing of things. Thank you all for hanging out with me. If you find yourself coming back over and over again, think about hitting that subscribe button. It helps out the algorithm to make my videos shown to more people to save them time, money, and frustration in the future. I want to give a huge thanks to everybody that's gone to my Amazon store. I always leave links in the description box below. Because of you, I'll never have to get sponsors. Thank you. If you haven't found me at Facebook, find me at facebook.com/Chickanic. Find me on Instagram at TheRealChickanic, or find me at Chickanic.com, where you get your own t-shirts, hoodies, and long sleeve shirts. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.